Hi guys, and thank you for joining me in my beautiful daily walk in the streets near my house and in the parks. So thank you and bear with me if there is some noise here and there. So the video today is for all the people that are trying to create something, to be proactive and productive in life. I understand the struggle, and I also understand the deep passion, and I share it with you. And I also acknowledge, speaking with other people and also from my own story, that the deep frustration that comes from managing to be actually proactive and doing something in life, and managing our time better, managing our resources better, and the fact that the more we are able to do that, and the more we are under stress, we are always full of anxiety, and then some, for example, sleep problems may come, and then we rely on things, sometimes drugs, sometimes excessive workout, etc., etc. So my message to you is, what if instead of managing your time, your resources, energy, the answer is managing your inner energies, your inner resources. So this is why I created Zen Flux Abundance, which comprises four main means. The one and the deeper is a scientific yet holistic approach to health, which is not just something rooted in or just taking drugs, or in the traditional kind of medicine like Ayurveda or naturopathy in general. It is something different, and I'm going to cover it in a short time. The other mean is awareness, meditation, centeredness, residing into the inner silence. So it is a training, and normally in the past this training was only for monks, for people that used to live a monastic life. But nowadays we can live it with some, adjustment. Everybody of them can do that. Even the people that are so full of things to do. And I would say one thing, that the people that are full of things to do need this even more than monks. Then the third means is therapists. When I speak about therapies, I speak about shamanic therapies in particular. There are some means, very powerful means, that have been used since the dawn of humanity, that are very, very strong, and that can be used to align your energy. And then the last one, and the most interesting for entrepreneurs, managers, is hypnosis, in particular self-hypnosis, and in particular a form very interesting called subliminal messages, that some subliminal messages are used nowadays, but they are not used the right way, in my opinion. The real use has not been even scratched. We are just on the surface, and we are going deep into that in a while. So let's begin with the first one, the scientific yet holistic approach to health. Now, I am Italian. Ancient Romans used to say mens sana in corpore sano, which means a healthy mind is possible only in a healthy body. And also ancient yoga, ancient yogin, ancient Taoism used to begin with the physical body. But people nowadays, even health aware, people that are health-wise are not just drugging themselves. Maybe you struggle a lot with health. They are saying to us that it's, you age somehow, but this is not truth. If you look at the study of about the ancient tribes, in particular the study of Weston, the first nutritionist of the world, that actually roamed the world, all the world, saw that the tribal people, even in their 90s, had a great deal of energy, and still they could use their bodies. So it is not a matter of aging. It is something else, right? So if you are struggling with, sometimes depression, and it's normal, you don't have to be guilty about it. Sometimes you struggle with not being able to concentrate, mental fog, anxiety, insomnia, digestive problems, or others. It may be, you are always scratching yourself and something like that. There is something not going well in your healthcare regime. Why is that? Because, so when I say holistic, I am actually saying that it's not the normal standard allopathic conventional medicine. Why? Because the standard allopathic conventional medicine is something that is not going to heal you. These things are made for the emergencies. If you take a drug for the high blood pressure, this is like a pillow that prevents you from falling, but it does not cure the falling itself. So, in my opinion, drugs, if they cannot be avoided, need to be taken in the shortest period of time possible and in the lowest doses possible. And you should not take this for the cure, for the answer. And unfortunately, the great majority of medical doctors actually believe that these are the actual cure. No. So you have to look at the root causes. This is why I define holistic, this approach. Now, one kind of medicine that used to look at the causes, the deeper causes, was the traditional medicine. For example, Ayurveda, naturopathy, traditional Chinese medicine, etc., etc. But the problem is that nowadays we live in a world that is so polluted. And again, I said this in many videos, but I am going to repeat it. There was a scientist named Henry Schroeder. Even Rockefeller used to go to him. In the 70s, he used to say, Henry Schroeder, that the toxins, in particular toxic metals and toxic chemicals, just in air and water, were in in a ratio from 1 to 1,000 if we looked at the 40s or at the 30s of the last century. Okay, so he died in the 70s, and he looked and he demonstrated with data that in the 70s, so 50 years ago, the toxic metals and the toxic chemicals only in air and water were 1 to 1,000. So if your liver and your body in the 30s encountered 1 toxin, in the 70s they encountered 1,000. So let's suppose, for example, that you are in the gym and you are lifting 50 kilograms that are kind of 25 pounds from the ground, and now figure yourself trying to lift 50,000 kilograms. This is the work that your body, your liver, your kidneys, etc., have to bear. That means that all the traditional medicine that is being developed in the last millennia is not enough anymore, because it was developed in a world that it was much less toxic. At the same time, we do not have enough resources in our bodies. In fact, there are some data. For example, the Department of Agriculture of USA in some reports said that just minerals in the soils are 1/10. So imagine if of the ones that you would find 100 years ago, for example. So imagine a farmer of 100 years ago that used, for example, to have 2 great cup of lentils a day, then 150 grams of lard. In order to have the same vitamins and minerals, you would have to eat 10 times more. So 20 cups of lentils, 20 and 1 kilograms and half of lard. It's not something you can do, right? And this even with the best food you can find. The best food you can find, maybe it's a bit more higher in minerals and nutrients, and maybe a less bit lower in toxins. That doesn't mean that it is at all in the normal range of a natural. This is due to the agricultural revolution of the 50s and 60s, where the agriculture were pushed to be to pass from a, we can say, natural approach to a chemical approach. So what does it mean for you? It means that in your tissues, so this is a discovery I made in my life when I was meditating, and then I find myself always struggling, and then I understood that there was something in my body that needed to be fixed. And then my journey began, and then I began to inform myself, and then I became the first mineral balancing practitioner in Italy. And this is a thing that I have been studying in a professional way for 3 years plus 2 years, we can say, of 1.5 years of actual work. Then, but I have been studying this before as an amateur, and this is the basic of my approach. So you have to understand that the toxic metals that you are breathing, that you are eating, are directly related to your emotional imbalances, to your incapability of coping with anxiety, to your mental fog. And at the same time, the things are gotten worse and worse with the imbalances of the minerals in particular, and the vitamins that you have in your tissues. This is not something that can be seen from your blood work. So this is the main point. I use hair tissue mineral analysis done every 3 or 4 months in order to fix what is unnatural in your body. And then we can together build something. When we have this basis, what happens is that your body will begin to dump out these toxins and begin to soak in the nutrients, and it's not something that you can do it yourself. And believe me, every people I work with understand in the first weeks the difference. Okay, so why am I telling you this? Your willingness, as I was saying, your passion, everything that was so strong in your prime, now it has become, more, you can say, stable, but the reality is that it has become a bit lower, right? This is due to your body. If we look deep down inside your mind, we can see that at a certain point, like Gustav Jung used to say, the mind is not mine anymore. It is a collective mind. And that part of mind does not speak in terms of concept, but in terms of big images called archetypes. Now, you don't have to see these archetypes as a real images. They are experiences, they are feelings. And with all your willpower, you cannot, for example, jump out from a bad archetype, like the archetype of the slave, for example, and go straight to the archetype of the warrior, or the archetype of the conqueror, for example. Why? Because if your adrenal glands are taxed, if your body is not healthy, you don't have the energy to do that. In the first place, you are sucking in the energy from the bad archetypes because your body is responding to an alarm situation. So this is the basis. You need to take out the toxins and to build in your levels, your healthy levels of minerals and vitamins. And I remember you that minerals are the little atoms that composes the matter, that composes the hormones, that composes the enzymes, that composes your tissues. And without the minerals, your body is not going to function. Okay, so, well, the real productivity comes from all this alignment. So while we are rebuilding your inner energies, your inner resources, then you can really begin to relax. And in this relaxation, you will find another zone. You will enter into a zone in which you feel yourself. You are yourself. And many people are saying to me, well, but what happens if I am so relaxed that I don't care about anything else? And it can happen. So sometimes people that, for example, are stuck in bad jobs take this opportunity to really reestablish into themselves, looking at their goals, etc., etc. But what if you know that your goals are what you want because you have followed a deep passion in the first place, and you are still relaxing? You don't feel this urge to do, this urge to always do and do and do. Well, this is where Zen Flux approach comes very handy. So the best way to do that, if you have a full body functioning, you are full of energy, is by training your subconscious mind to do something that can be manage your time, that can be enter into a modality in which you are selling something, you are speaking to a person that want to buy something. It can be anything. To enter into a modality that goes on automatic. Think, what if instead of always putting will in doing this, in learning that, in doing this other thing and this other thing, you can just say some words in your mind, and all the things that you have written, that you have read in your books, and that you have experienced in your life will go on automatic, and only the good thing that you are selecting. And meanwhile, while this mechanism is going and going and going, you are just relaxing and enjoy everything. You are not there trying to force and force and force. What will happen? Will happen that you will achieve your goals faster, because the relaxation will not make you, always looking for, I have to reach this and that. You will just enjoy the ride, so the goals will arrive faster, and it will become a blessing and not anymore a struggle. So all the first part was for saying to you that the first things you have to do is to build up your energy, your inner resources. Without that, all the rest is not possible. But after you do that, you have to use carefully and wisely those inner resources. And this is the Zen Flux methodology. So after you build this great energy that comes from within, from deep down inside, from this collective unconscious, you are beginning to reawaken in your talents that have been lacking, that have been sleeping, and you will find new talents. Then you can, instead of using this energy again in an anxious way to always achieving and achieving, you can just learn awareness. You can just learn to be still in the moment, enjoy yourself, enjoy life, enjoy yourself, love yourself. And at the same time, while you're doing that and while you are relaxing, you can train your mind, your subconscious mind, to get only when you need it into some modalities. For example, the modality of problem solving, the modality of creative thinking. You can put everything if you know how to. And I have been doing this for myself for 8 years. So you can have the cake and eat it. You can enjoy your life, be yourself, be relaxed, and at the same time be productive in a much more smoother and efficient way. And then there is the Shamanic Therapies. The Shamanic Therapies are a means to make all this more smooth, more easy, because of course you will have to process the things of your past while you are doing all this. but we will make a program that will make sense, will be sustainable, and will really, really change your life. So I hope that even if the video is a bit long, you understood it. And I know that the first part has been a bit technical, but it was necessary. So if you want to begin to see something, you can mail me at zenfluxabundance@gmail.com, and you will have some free gifts that are re-updated. So I will just give you a link with the free gifts, and you can have the 50% discount on your first consultation. So please take a moment for asking yourself, is this life I am doing going to be sustainable, for example, in 5 years, or even 1 year, or even in 6 months? And find a moment to really let my words process your unconscious and ask yourself, is this what I'm looking for? Am I willing to try this? I'm just asking you to be honest with yourself, because I care about creating a new kind of humanity. I care about seeing people being joyful and healthy. This is the only way we can save this world, and we can do that together.